So in the last lesson, we learned how to full screen our entire web page when we click on this particular button. Now this is really nice if you were perhaps presenting something. However, we are viewing a video and I would quite like to do something like this where we can full screen a particular element. Now for this, we've learned that also the document element, which is our root node, so that HTML tag at the root of our HTML document, has this request full screen. And this isn't by coincidence. Every single DOM node now has this request full screen. So that means that instead of using our document element, if you want to scroll up slightly, we have our media object. Now, just because this is a video, it doesn't really matter. It inherits from the same APIs. So in fact, we can save this out and just change it from the document element to the media object. We can then go and click our own full screen, and you can see that our null has now become our video class of media. So we now can enter full screen mode and just play the video on its own. We can then use the HTML5 video API to toggle, which we have the built-in button enabled here, or we can just simply press our escape on the keyboard. So this is a real simple and very short lesson on simply using a different element. We've then looked at the entire document, but then we've also looked at a single element. And this is just something I wanted to show you separately so you know how to do this. And again, it doesn't matter what that object is, that DOM element. It doesn't matter that it is in fact a media object and has lots of media APIs attached to it as well, as these DOM nodes do in fact inherit lots of different properties and they all have the same APIs available. Of course, if we were using an audio element, don't forget that we're not going to have a full screen for our audio. That wouldn't really make sense. And we can also then start to detect if we have a full screen element as well. And typically what we would do is something like this. So we would take our console log, we can just completely throw it away. We can say if the document has no full screen element, then we simply want to await that requested full screen. So we can try it again. We can see that we've entered our full screen mode. We can hit escape. So this is also a nice check that we can say. We can say if there is no full screen element, or if you want to be more explicit, we could say equals, and then null. So this will be a bit more specific because we know that that gives us a null value by default. We can then hit save and try it out just to make sure, and that gives us the same effect. So let's jump into the next video and start looking at some of the full screen events.